Today I'll show you how I made all these little Christmas cards. It's a long video because I made so many of them. But stay until the end, it's worth it. Hello Jelly print fans! It's Christmas time and I want to make Christmas cards. And last year on my channel I made feather trees, feather Christmas trees. I only have a few of them left here. They were really nice. I loved them. I'll put the link up here. And I was tempted to repeat this as they turned out so nice, but I always want to try something new. Also last year I made another Christmas, I think it was this one, another Christmas card video. I'll link this up here too. And liked that very much. I was printing with a fern as a Christmas tree, with a real fern leaf. And yeah, but I have done that too. So I dug up some quite old, like 3 years ago or so, I made these. And I didn't film them, as I didn't have my YouTube channel then. And I especially liked this stuff. I printed this stuff. So this is the direction I want to go in today. And I was working with an origami tree. I'll show you how you make this. And so I'm making these cards today. They turned out wonderfully, especially some of the iridescent colors. So stay tuned and I'll show you how I made these. Let's get to it. This is an example of last year's feather tree card. It has this very nice golden shimmer that I achieved with this medium. It's just an iridescent gold metallic medium by Liquitex. And I'm gonna do that, use that one today too. And look up here, I even made a little moon up there. The card size is so that it fits into these envelopes that are 15 by 15 centimeters, and it's just the size of the jelly plate. And I like the rim so much of that jelly plate that I don't want to cut it off, but it's always a little hard to get it in there. So I'm trying to make them a little smaller today by using this passepartout. And now I'll show you how I make the origami tree for it. And I have to measure this out so that the tree has the right size, about 12 centimeters. And this is the height of the tree, is the diagonal line. That has 12 centimeters. So I'm cutting out a little sturdier paper. I'm cutting it here on the side. And then I'm cutting the branches. They should have equal width, I would say. And if you're not certain about this, if you can't measure it, eyeball it, then take the time and draw them in so that they're fairly even. So this will be the top of the tree, and I'll leave a little spot for the star sitting on a Christmas tree. And you have to stop cutting just short before the middle line so that it doesn't fall apart. And then you just bow them onto their own root, so to speak, and glue them there. This is actually not really an origami technique, as you already guessed by now. It's just a folded tree. I don't know, the German version of origami. So you might think, why bend it? Why not just cut it out plain, the plain paper? But all these folds, especially at where they come together, these shapes are interesting. So I want them to show later. And the star being of the same piece of paper, I messed it up. So I have to make another one and glue it onto it. And I made the star a little irregular, so that's more interesting. This is the first print, which I make in pure black, and I put the tree on and take excess color off with deli paper, as it gives me some interesting detail in the print. I use the golden open colors as they dry slowly, and as I never clean the brayer or the foil or the tree, they get mixed in the process, and you get more and more exciting paint textures as you continue. So this first print is just for practicing and starting the color mess. So here you can see how the tree gives interesting patterns where the paper stripes come together in the middle, and the texture that the deli paper gave me with the golden open paint. I printed this by using this the Passepartout, and you can see it left a rim on there and also other residue, and I'm picking that up with a red gold. It's supposed to be red gold, but for me it's really copper. Anyway, I'm using the Passepartout again to get it a little smaller, and be careful to really push into the edges with your fingers, or you get a larger rim like I just did. But anyway, I like that rim. I know this next thing is going to be interesting because of that residue. So I'll pick up this frame residue with a Chinese paint color that is a metallic orange. I put a little bit of black paint on the brayer to mix it with the orange, but not mix too much. Then I placed the tree, and now I'm coming in with my most beloved effect material. It is weedy stuff that you normally use for Easter nests, and it gives amazing textures that you can work out wonderfully. And see the deli paper? I also love about the deli paper that I can see through it and how much I picked up. I'm taking the Easter grass off, fiddly stuff, taking the tree off, and this was not a golden open paint, so it's too dry and I have to pick it up with another acrylic color, and I'm using the Lukas white, which works usually very well. I've got this short, but always let it sit on the plate for a while when you make the pickup print. And it worked nicely. The star is not so visible, but I love the frame inside the frame. Isn't that just great? And the weedy stuff, I just always marvel at what it does. I have to make a video just about this stuff. I will do that. Would you be interested? And I had this problem because I wanted the golden fluid color, not golden open, in gold, fine, was empty. So I wanted to buy a new bottle, and by mistake I bought the bronze, which was too dark, and I don't like that color at all. So I'm using the, what's the brand? Panduro gold now, and see if that is nice. I think it is. I am using this wooden cutout tree that I bought in a hardware store. And this is a wallpaper also from a hardware store. And I printed a lot of it, a lot with it already, and I just love it. And yeah, so I'm just printing out some of the gold in a G shape, putting the Passepartout on it again, and making a print. No, I can't show you the print because it hardly printed at all. It dried too fast. So I'm using a black acrylic, also by Golden. It's a fluid paint, and it reacts like as if you're spraying water on it, but you don't have to spray the water on it. It's so fluid that it does it automatically on the gel plate. It's amazing. I'm not using this one for later, but the effect of the fluid paint is great. So I'm trying that again. And I said it wrong. It's not the fluid paint by Golden. It's the high flow. The high flow is usually used for spraying things, for spray art, Yeah, and it's great. You don't have to do anything. It just makes this effect all on its own. So I'm putting the origami tree on again, and look how interesting this background is. And now I am painting the paper tree on its own. I'm pressing that down, misplacing it on purpose so that it's a bit more interesting. But I find it didn't print so well. And I should have left it like that. But what I'm doing now, I'm really ruining this with. You see that? Initially it was a good idea, but it really turned out bad. Doesn't look good at all. And I tried to save it later, but I'll spare you that. I just wanted to leave it in so that you see I make mistakes too. And look at that little tree I made and how it's turned into a real nice textured tree. I'll actually use this for a collage later, but it'll change its color again. And I'm using a high viscosity paint now that has a metallic shimmer, and it's so amazing because it's shining from blue to red and pink and back to blue again. I'm using that little tree and also some pure alcohol for some interest. I'm letting that dry a little more than you see here. But it's a nice print. Look at that shimmer. I can't believe how great this paint is. Ooh, Christmas. Note that I again leave the residue of the last print on the gel plates, and I'm using the high viscosity, amazing shimmering paint again, together with some black, and just rolling around a regular paper ball. It's a newspaper paper ball, and using that little wooden thing again. And funnily enough, this print is much more on the red side, but when you turn the paper, as you see, it turns to blue again. I want to speed up the messiness here, so I'm just randomly rolling about some different colors and then coming in with that wonderful paint again, a little less this time. And now I'm coming in with a cling foil that I've used before and that still has some golden open paint on it. So that is still wet as well. Putting on the tree and pressing it down real hard so I take off a lot. And I'll let this dry and then pick it up with a color that's called amber. And it is sparkling and glittering a bit. And this is the perfect moment to say hi to Amber, who is always writing these lovely comments. Thank you, Amber. The print is good, but it was not a good idea to put two prints on one page. But here I'll show you how it would look framed. Beautiful. There's a stupid black spot up there. And who knows already what I'm doing with that later. Now for even another gold paint, not golden but Schmincke. Put way too much on it, taking some off again, and putting some Ranger alcohol drops and again rolling out the ground, placing the tree. Oh, I took it off before the printing. Ah, yeah. This one is really nice. I love it, I love it. It's not finished at all. You can't see the tree at all. But the background is so interesting with all the purple areas there and the gold shimmering pieces. And it's really vintagey and scrubby. So I want to add just a dark tree to it. So I'm printing just the tree this time, taking off the paint around it with the tissue. And also here I'm coming in with I think it's a baby wipe, or it might just be a wet tissue. And I'm stressing that again, I use the golden open paint, so I don't need a pickup paint. I can just take the tree off and print that directly onto my previous print. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Needs a little workout, but not so much. For the next print, I'll use the amber for the ground and the Schmincke gold for the sky. And it's actually almost the same color. A little ranger in the color Pool, which is a turquoise color. And now you can really see, after all these prints I made, that it's getting more and more interesting. It's a subtle process, but it works. Now I'm starting with the Ranger alcohol ink, putting some of the high flow paint on top of it, and you can see that it doesn't react the way it reacts when it's just on the plate on its own. So I'm adding some water, placing the tree on, and taking off excess color with a baby wipe. And placing that tree in my greenish landscape. Beautiful. Pale but beautiful. Now I wanted to make a red gold print of the tree, but when I prepared that, I looked at the origami tree itself and found it would be so beautiful to put this on another card. So I'm taking this one with the Easter weed, where you couldn't see much of the tree. So I'll use that as a collage. And now I'm starting the working out process. Surprise, surprise, I'm making a moon. It was just a very round sphere that was too white, and it cried for a moon. Can't help it. I'm also coming in with my micron fine liners, because in this case I could do with a little more contrast, I think. And I'm also using my much used Christmas stencils for the writing. And there's some lovely texture in the moon itself, so I'm enhancing that a little and giving it a 3D dimension by giving a shadow. And look at these details. This is what you get after so many prints, and I think it's always fascinating. It's one thing I love about the gel plate. This one definitely needs some definition, and I'm coming in with a fine liner straight from the start. And I imagine that the light, as usual, is coming from the top left, so you would see the shadows below and to the right of the shapes. I just tried a white chalk marker for the stencil, but that didn't work, so I used the Jelly Roll. That's a Japanese marker. I think the micron is Japanese too. Anyway, I'm also giving the writing a shadow. And the chalk marker, again, it is very good for very light highlights and very broad. And I don't know what these are, probably green clouds, but they have to get a green shadow. And lastly, I'm giving the whole pictures a frame on the down side and on the right side. And I'm doing that because I want to follow that interesting structure that the gel plate always gives me. Love it. And now for the purple print. I'm following the shapes of the tree with a jelly roll marker and shadows with a micron pen. We obviously have a black snowfall here. I'm turning the snowflakes, the huge black snowflakes, I'm turning them into watery, water drop-like objects. It's easy to do. Just place white spots in the direction where the light is coming from, and on the other end you form, like inside the very outer black shape, you form a longish round white shape. And for some reason I just didn't want the Merry Christmas writing on this one. Maybe not to disturb the dark, mysterious space I created here. It must be an outer space Christmas. Now I'm working out the grungiest one of the grungy prints. I don't know, again, I don't know what these are. I guess they're clouds. I have to get a shadow. The print is very light and it's beige up there in the sky, and I don't know how that happened because I clearly remember putting some gold on. And this is and this was the amber, which looks like a gold now. Strange things happen. In this print, the black spot disturbed me. And guess what? I'm making another moon of it. It's a black moon, which is even more Christmassy, isn't it? A black moon. Maybe not. There is this wonderful piece of music called, it's a soul song, it's called Black Moon Rising. Listen to that, it's fantastic. I also give the foil textures that I have printed, I also give those creases some shadow. And some highlights for the tree and the background foil textures. So this was the simple black one I did, was the first print. And it's really amazing, these structures you only get with either etching ink and picking it up with deli paper, or like here, the golden open with deli paper to pick up. And it does not work with regular acrylics, and it does not work with a high flow or fluid acrylics. So here I'm coming in with the Liquitex gold metallic medium. You can mix it into paints, but I find that you hardly can see it, so I always use it over very light areas to get this shimmer. Maybe this one is a little bit too dark for some people and maybe too black and white, but actually I do love black and white with a little gold. So yeah, I'm goldening the writing too. I think it works nice. Heaven help, there is no snowfall in my cards, I just noticed. Probably because the last few winters we hardly had any snow anymore. So for a nice, naturally uneven snowfall, you just dilute some white acrylic paint with a lot of water and use a small brush and then tap on the brush lightly with your finger and you'll get the nicest snowfall. And of course, also the snowflakes have to get highlights too, and shadows. And I just noticed I made an M for the H in the CH, so it's Merry Christmas now. And this is the last one, and I kept it for last because it is actually the favorite, my favorite print of all these I made today. So I'll leave you with my working out without a comment. And isn't this one just so lovely? I love it. I think I'm going to keep it even and maybe frame it. I really have to stop editing this video now, and I can't show you the process of two more I made. They both come with Christmas balls on the Christmas trees even. And I like them also. I hope I didn't bore you to death with the length of this video. Yeah, here is the ones I printed again. It was such a lot of fun for me. I hope this inspires you to try this. And remember, the longer you work with the paint and the less you clean your instruments and the gel plate, the more interesting the outcomes get. Just try. Just, dig up some things that you think will print good, and try. And I'm not sure if I'll see you next weekend because this was really so much work. I might have to take a week off. Anyway, I'm coming soon with a new video and I hope to see you then. Bye.